Excuse me. This cave-in was no accident, and it isn't going to stop unless we move fast. I am super duper serial.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 changes on South Park that made fans rage quit.
We shouldn't be mad at Chef for leaving us. We should be mad at that fruity little club for scrambling his brains.
For this list, we'll be looking at story and character changes from South Park that were just too much for some fans, pushing them to walk away. Have you ever bailed on South Park because of something they showed? Tell us the details in the comments below. Number 10. Killing off Chef. It was the end of an era. Chef had been part of the show since the very first episode.
Hello there, children.
Hey, Chef. What's gonna be for lunch today, Chef?
Well, today it's Salisbury steak with buttered noodles.
Compared to many of the other adults, he was likely the most mature of them all. Always serving as the voice of reason, the boys came to him for advice far more often than their own parents.
Here, you children sit down and let me explain something to you about where babies come from.
But when his Scientology entourage made a statement that was reportedly on actor Isaac Hayes' behalf requesting he be released from the show, they killed his character off, never to appear again in the series. It marked a major turning point for the show, leaving the kids without a stable mentor to turn to.
But we can't let the events of the last week take away the memories of how much Chef made us smile. I'm gonna remember Chef as the jolly old guy who always broke into song.
Number 9. Introduction of Towel-E. Merchandising is a big part of media these days. It's not enough to have a great show. You have to have merchandise the fans can buy.
Don't forget to bring a towel.
What?
When you get out of the water, you need to dry off right away to avoid catching a cold.
Poking fun at the commercialization of their own show, the creators of South Park invented a character specifically to be as annoying as possible, but would spout catchphrases that could easily be put on a t-shirt or towel, pun intended. His first appearance is otherwise forgettable, and indeed accomplished what the writer set out to do.
You want to get high?
No, we don't want to get high.
Okay. You sure?
Yes, go away, stupid towel.
Entire Reddit threads have been spawned regarding the uselessness of the character and how fans adore him while others despise him. He's also been compared to the Crab People, which were a desperate plot idea used to fill time in an episode.
We are the Crab People!
Jesus Christ!
Number 8. Attacking climate change. It's safe to say that Matt and Trey at one time weren't avid believers when it came to climate change.
You see, there is something out there which threatens our very existence and may be the end to the human race as we know it. I'm talking, of course, about Man-Bear-Pig.
This was apparent in their teardown of Al Gore during Season 10's Man-Bear-Pig episode. Replacing the climate crisis with a mythical creature, the episode paints Gore as kind of a lunatic with crazy ideas.
You just used Man-Bear-Pig as a way to get attention for yourself because you're a loser!
If you happen to be on the side of science when this episode hit the air, you may not have taken it too lightly. Thankfully, the show's creators backtracked and even apologized in Season 22, admitting they were wrong about Man-Bear-Pig. If you bailed on the show years ago because of their attitude towards climate change, maybe it's time to reconsider.
Oh, is it inconvenient now? I tried to warn you all, but no one took me serial. You all just made fun of me, didn't you?
Number 7. Shifted more attention to their games.
Are we really going to take on the 6th graders? No mercy, guys!
If you were around back in 1998 when the first video game of South Park came out, then you'd remember how terrible it was. The show's creators had no input on any of the earlier games, and subsequently, most of them were met with awful reviews. So when Matt and Trey collaborated with Ubisoft to build South Park: The Stick of Truth, it was completely a new experience for gamers.
Young man, if you really want power, there's only one thing you must do. Find Jesus. Find him, and when you do, return to me.
Yet with so much time and effort being put into this new direction, there's an argument to be made about whether or not the show's episodes have taken a hit because of it.
What are you guys talking about?
Nothing.
Bullcrap, you're all talking about me again. Cause you're judgmental bitches.
Given the massive deal with Paramount Plus for new content, hopes are high for great stories to be told. Number 6. Garrison became president / Trump criticisms. When South Park started using Garrison as their own version of Donald Trump, there was an expectation that it would be short-lived.
I've got to come clean. I had no idea I would get this far, but the fact of the matter is, I should not be president.
The creators didn't think the Apprentice star would actually win. So when he did, the show kept the narrative going, and going, and going. Like countless late-night comedians, the jokes about the then-president seemed to write themselves. And after a while, nothing was funny anymore.
I am not a good person for the White House. I am not a good person, period. Finally, someone who doesn't talk like a politician. I am peeing my pants at the thought of being president.
Even though the show often reflects the real world, fans often want escapism in their entertainment, and this was just a constant reminder of the realities of the world. Thankfully, the show's creators got sick of it and dialed back their President Garrison's airtime.
I'm just tired of thinking about it. Come on, let's relax and have some memberberry pie.
Number 5. The Season 2 April Fool's Joke. Every fan of the show wanted to know who Cartman's dad was.
And that's who she was with last, Mr. Garrison.
Yeah. Yeah.
Having waited over a month to get an answer, fans were understandably upset when the Season 2 premiere episode was focused entirely on Terrence and Philip.
The shocking truth about Cartman's lineage will not be seen tonight, so that we can bring you the following special presentation.
Thousands of email complaints were sent to Comedy Central, and audiences had to wait one more week to get their real answers. It was a dangerous stunt in the show's early days, which likely cost them some of their early fans. There have been accounts of people holding a grudge against the show for as long as 5 years because of this prank. If you held out this long, maybe it's time to consider making your way back.
After all your criticism, it was farting that saved Canada. That is so juvenile.
Number 4. Kenny died for good. Kind of.
Oh no. No.
One of the most common running gags on South Park was how Kenny would always die in the episode, only to reappear on the next one.
Oh my god, she killed Kenny! You bastard!
Fans would tally how many times he bit the dust and the means by which he met his maker. Yet in Season 5, Kenny bought the farm for an extended period of time, changing the core lineup.
Did he say anything before he went? He just said, "Where's Stan?"
The show played at the idea of having a carousel of other characters replace Kenny as the fourth kid. However, fans were not happy about the loss of the character, and it may have affected the way the following season played out. By the time Season 6 ended, Kenny had returned, and fans upset by his absence found their way back as well.
Oh, hey, Kenny. Dude, where have you been? Well, come on, we gotta tell you what happened. I'm sure glad it's over with. Yeah, but I feel like things are finally back to normal.
Number 3. Moved into more serialized storytelling. Before the days of streaming, people would rewatch old episodes through reruns on regular television.
Oh my god, that was great!
Play ball.
Episodes would often air out of order, which meant TV producers hated the idea of serialized stories. The binge watch era changed all of that. Even though South Park has jumped from Netflix to Hulu and now to Paramount Plus and HBO Max, they embraced the idea of longer stories that would last multiple episodes.
We have to tell someone the truth, Butters.
Are you sure about what's going to happen on Mars?
It's all been leading up to this. We've just been too blind to see it before.
Seasons may have become shorter, but the use of long-form storytelling has forced fans to keep up with the show week to week. This change has not been without its opponents. Those who preferred self-contained stories may be far more reluctant to tune in week after week to follow the town's events.
When the world is changing so fast, it makes us yearn for the old ways when life seemed simpler.
Number 2. Cartman stopped using catchphrases. Can you name a couple of Cartman's most infamous catchphrases?
I am a cop, and you will respect my authority.
At one time, you couldn't go a single episode without hearing at least one of them. With all the terrible things that kid has done, he did at least give us some quotable bits.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
So, what happened? An argument could be made that catchphrases just aren't as popular as they were at one time. But ultimately, it's likely this is just a natural progression of the show. As Randy's become a much heavier player in the story, things like repeatable quips aren't as interesting to the writers anymore. With Cartman being such a popular character, this shift may have turned his biggest fans against the show.
They mostly come at night. Mostly. They mostly come at night. Mostly.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. It became more offensive. When this show first emerged, it shocked audiences with its so-called offensive nature. But if you go back and watch those early episodes now, they seem so incredibly tame compared to what they release now.
We all know why we're here, and I believe we all know what needs to be done.
We sure do.
Sure, the world has evolved and tends to tolerate far more than it did 25 years ago. But in order to keep its edge, the show has had to push the boundary again and again.
Hey, hi, listen, dude. You know, the whole crocodile hunter thing, it's just a little soon, you know? I mean, he just died a few weeks ago.
Depending on the viewer, the constant barrage of new and interesting ways to offend their viewers can become very tiresome. Fans have walked away after having enough, but sadly, they would have missed some of the show's greatest stories and lessons. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.